Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom podcast. Today, we officially conclude Action Movies Galore by celebrating all the work we have done. Couldn't have been timed more perfectly. Soon as we start recording, my dogs begin barking. Lovely, lovely, love it. No, sorry. Um, but yeah, Action Movies Galore concludes today with our top 10 favorite action movies ever. Me and Joe each have our own little list of 10, and I'm excited to dive into it. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And this was a difficult list to nail down. So, action's a pretty broad
Yeah.
category. So really it ended up being extremely subjective. Just kind of for me, the logic I used is that if I'm going to define the movie for a genre, is action one of the first two that comes to mind? Is it, sci-fi action? Is it action adventure? Is it an action drama, an action thriller? Is it, what
Mm-hmm.
does it fit in here? If it an action comedy even. If there is anything that felt like it wouldn't quite do that, I left it out. We also agreed that we wouldn't have overlap. So me and
Mm-hmm.
Joe have already kind of gone over our lists. We've negotiated trades. We've made sure that we don't have any overlap. So what you're getting is 20 movies, 20 movies, which is plenty of movies. Um, Another arbitrary rule I set up for myself is that I wouldn't have more than one by any given director. I don't have any director overlap.
Hmm.
That didn't need to be the case. I just wanted to show as much love as I could to as many different movies as I could. Um, and yeah. So if you ever disagree with any action movie included here,
Hmm.
whatever. If you feel like there isn't a movie here that you would have included in an action movie conversation, that's fine. Um, I really like, and there will be examples of that subjectivity in here. So ultimately, it's incredibly subjective. Even our perception of what action movies are. So like there are some that
Mm-hmm.
are inarguable. There are some that are just like, yeah, that's an action movie. There are some that are like, that's that's a movie with action in it. Is it an action movie? So like
Yeah.
it's a tough thing to nail down. So just bear with us. This is what we have dubbed our top 10 favorite action films. So, Joe, if you'd like, you can take us on in here.
Whew. All right. Well, start off with a movie that I really wanted to start with Tron, but it was a movie that I couldn't quite call an action movie. It wasn't the first one or the second kind of genres to come to mind, but a movie that surprised me. Usually I don't like war movies, but this was in the way it was filmed. I'll just go ahead and say the name. It was 1917, released in 2019. The movie 1917, a war movie about World War One, directed by Sam Mendes. And just I remember I I think it might have been a theater viewing. Now that I think about it, because I think my family was pretty hyped to see it. They like the war movies, and we were going out to see it, and it was just visually beautiful. I mean, it was shot as if it was one take.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the whole movie is not one take, but when you're sitting there, it is just like you're along the ride of a soldier's experience, and the action you see is, I mean, I feel like a pretty famous shot of him just running kind of through a battlefield and kind of at the front lines, and there's explosions going on behind
Yeah.
him, and he bumps into somebody, falls down, gets back up, and starts running again. um and it's just that chaos for the whole movie. And then, but at the same time it looks beautiful the whole time. I mean, it's like, even at a time, 2019, when I wasn't paying attention to those sort of things, I knew that I was watching something cinematically beautiful. And so I felt like but I had to put it at my 10 because it is just a war movie, and those can't really rise too high for me, just my own personal favorites. But I felt kind of, I wanted one kind of war-ish movie, and this was the
Mm.
one that I put at the top, at least for me.
Yeah,
when it comes to war movies. So yeah,
I love that.
1917 at 10.
Love that. I love that. Yeah, my 10 is one that I only watched for the first time a couple weeks back. Um, last week, actually. It is Old Boy, directed by Park Chan-wook. It's a Korean action film that is fucking gnarly. An action thriller that created the hallway fight scene. It's the OG. Um,
This is the first.
this is the original. Like if you were to look up original hallway fight scene, the results will be Old Boy. Um, and after watching it, I can assure you, nothing has been as good as it since, as far as hallway fights are concerned. Um, Park Chan-wook has quickly become one of my favorite directors in the past couple weeks, and this as an action thriller is fucking gnarly. There's a lot more going on. This is one of those ones where like I would not be surprised if people were like, really, action's one of the first genres that comes to mind here. There's also a
Hmm.
mystery angle. There's a thriller angle. It's it's got one of the most just wild twists I've ever seen in a movie. Um, not a happy film. But damn, is it fucking gnarly in its action sequences. And that hallway fight, I knew you'd like to know
Hmm.
where the original hallway fight is. So I threw Old Boy in here. That is my 10.
Wow.
That's where I have Old Boy. So
Wow.
that's how I'll kick it off.
It took to 2003 to get a hallway fight. I guess that's kind of crazy.
Well,
But
now it just seems like so like, well, obviously we got to get a hallway fight, but
yeah.
that had to start at some point.
Huh. Okay.
You know,
Well,
like
yeah. I'll
it
have
was
to.
basically everyone being like, well, goddamn, can we do anything even remotely close to how cool that was? Um, and
Wow.
the closest I think was Daredevil. Um, but
Mm. That's a nice hallway. That's a nice
yeah,
hallway fight
like
there.
we're talking
Um.
one take hallway scene. Like that's
Ah.
like
Okay.
it's not like Darth Vader
No.
and Rogue One, like
Oh. Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 when they do their hallway fight scene, and The
Hmm.
Raid when they do their hallway fight scene, and like
Oh.
all
Okay.
that
I
like it's
see.
like that type of hallway fight scene.
Wow.
Um
Okay. Okay. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out. Um. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Well.
leaving out some pretty massive detail. If you've watched Old Boy, you know that I'm underselling just how fucked up that movie is. It's a
Hmm.
fuck. It's fucked. Oh my God, it's fucked. It's so fucked. Old Boy at 10. Uh,
I don't know what that means, but I want to know what it means.
I don't
But
know. Yeah, no, Old Boy at 10.
old boy. Okay. Well, I guess moving on. Um, I guess this movie's kind of fucked, but I don't think in any way that Old Boy is. No, it's just it's a classic. I think of what people would think is an action classic, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but it is 1987's Predator, by John McTiernan, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and
Ah,
Carl
I
Weathers.
didn't know John
Um,
McTiernan did The Predator.
yeah.
He also did Die Hard.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and Carl Weathers also. Rest in peace. One of my core memories as a child is Arnold Schwarzenegger's and Carl Weathers' dap, their handshake, and just
Yeah.
them ripping. I mean, flexing as hard as they can. And me and my brother, I don't know, me and my brother, we thought that this was just the coolest thing in any movie ever. Like whenever we watched this movie, I think we were too young to actually watch it. For one, I think it was like one our dad was just like, "Hey, watch this movie. It's
Yeah,
fucking
check us
sick.
out.
It's
Yeah.
sick." And so like we shouldn't have been watching it. So everything was instantly cooler. And yeah, like I mean, there's a point where a
Yeah.
dude's like he just accepts his fate. He takes a machete, just slices his chest literally like kind of wide open and then just falls like to his death off of like a bridge. And like
I bet.
me when I was like 7 years old, I didn't even know you could slice your own chest, I didn't know. Yeah, and that was the first time that ever crossed my mind. And I'm like, I'm like, "Oh my god." Like I think the idea of
Yeah.
suicide was introduced to me by Predator.
Yeah,
But
right.
anyway, no, the movie itself though is insane. It's get to the chopper. It's cover your face with
Get
mud.
to the
I
chopper.
mean, like it's just
I mean, it's the Predator.
yeah, come on, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
mean, what you have a crazy alien just hunting a bunch of soldier, or like I don't even know if they were Marines or like why they have guns or what
right,
they're even out there for. If they're just there to try to kill this thing, or if they happen to be out there with it. I don't even really remember. But all I know is that they were being hunted the whole movie, and it was just awesome to try to watch them escape, but all of
right.
them die besides Arnold. So that's how I mean, the Predator just kind of has it on him like that. It's kind of
Oh
unfair.
yeah.
Um,
All
but
right.
yeah, just a classic action at 9. Only reason I put it at 9 is because I haven't really seen it that recently. But I know off of just those childhood memories and some vague ones that I do actually. It was
Yeah.
just very sick to
That's
watch.
pretty fucked. That's pretty fucked, but I can assure you, I don't think you've ever watched anything that's fucked in the way Old Boy is fucked, for the
Okay.
record.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't think Predator even came close to Old Boy the way you're talking it up. I mean, all I
it's so
know is that
fucked.
after this I just got to check out what's going on with Old Boy.
Yeah, like it's one of those things that you like can't like don't even Google Old Boy because it's an old enough movie where like that will be like what's talked about. Um,
Okay.
like just watch Old Boy. Don't even like I had the unfortunate circumstance where I actually kind of knew what was fucked about it. Um, I can't imagine not knowing what was fucked about it. So I kind of want to see what that's like.
You think it's going to be worse? Is it going to be
Yeah,
worse?
yeah, it'll be a lot worse. It'll be so much worse. Um,
I can't wait. Oh, that's I
it'll
love.
be infinitely worse because
Mm,
like even the thing that like I knew was fucked about it, I went like we got a certain point in the movie where I'm like maybe I read that wrong. Maybe what I thought isn't what was fucked. And then like at the end of the movie, I'm like, oh no, that was pretty fucked. That was pretty fucking awful. Um,
okay.
so yeah, no, Old Boy top tier recommendation, but yeah, Predator at 9. Okay, my 9 is a far less fucked movie, John Wick 2.
Oh.
I had to get a John Wick movie in here.
Uh,
I ended up pulling trig on a little thing we discussed last night where I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't get my favorite John Wick movie, but I'll get this John Wick movie in there. Chad
mm,
Stahelski is such a fantastic action director. Keanu Reeves, I would have been remiss to not have a Keanu Reeves movie in here as he is one of the greatest action stars ever. So had to get
mhm.
Keanu in here, had to get John Wick in here. We just covered John Wick 2 at length a few weeks
Mhm.
back for this project. Um, you might as well go check that out if you want extended thoughts on John Wick 2. That movie rips. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
So John Wick 2 at 9.
We all know, and we'll have more Keanu later on as well. So we'll talk about him. We'll give him his flowers. Um, but moving on,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. That's. I'm thinking I'm back. I mean, that dude is.
You know what? Yeah. I'm thinking I'm back. Uh I
Uh,
love the fucking guy. Love the fucking guy. So yeah, Keanu, John Wick at 9.
well, um, moving on to 8. I don't think. No, I was about to compare it to John Wick. I don't want to. I don't even want to go there. But this it's kind of my left field pick, I think. I don't know, but this is Kingsman: The Secret Service. It came out in 2014, directed by Matthew Vaughn. And um, I mean, you got some big time names in there. You know, Samuel L. and Michael Caine are in there for a little bit, but mainly, you have like Mark Strong is the main dude, and then Taron Egerton, the guy who played
Elton John.
Elton John, yeah, in Rocket Man, um, and 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 it's the story itself is it's kind of cheesy at some points and whatever, but the action and like I guess that's what I was focused on while making this list is like picking the action out of the movie, and it's just creative. It's like James Bond kind of mixed with John Wick. That's kind of why I wanted to go there. They're much more focused on making like the action look very clean and purposeful
Is
and
that the one where Colin
um
Firth shoots a bunch of people in a church?
oh my god, I think that does happen in this movie.
No, I mean like and it's not like it's not
Yeah,
like
no.
it's not like a religious statement or
No,
anything.
it's
It's just that
not. No,
that's
but I
where it
mean
happens to take place.
a mass murder happens inside of a
Yeah.
church.
They all
Yes.
have guns though. It's like they are all
Yes.
trying to kill
Everyone
him.
is
It's not
trying to
like he's just
kill.
shooting
Yes.
people. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
should have presented that differently,
Not
but yeah.
innocent civilians. No, I was like, am I remembering the movie wrong? I'm like, wait a minute. Did that because I'm like,
Because
no, that did happen, but I'm like, wait, was it innocent people that he was
I
shooting
mean,
on?
that's a pretty gnarly
Um
action sequence though. Like
yeah.
that's some cool shit.
It's pretty nuts. And then there's like this whole secret society thing that's going on where like Samuel L is this DJ that's like controlling the end of the world. And then like this massive fight goes down at the end of the club. But then there's even like little scenes where they're in just like a pub or like a bar. And the dude locks the door and just has to beat up three people. And
Mhm.
all he has is like a little cane. And they're all about like being professional. And they make the suits kind of like their suits are bulletproof, kind of
Right.
like John Wick. And they have an armory room where they have like a pin that is actually a grenade. You hit the
Isn't
pin and
there isn't
um,
there a chick with an amputated leg where it like also turns into a blade?
yes, and yeah, I mean it is kind of nuts. They do just it's not
Luke
it's
Skywalker's there.
is he?
Mark Hamill's in the movie. Yeah, he's a professor. He's like the professor who is like the center of their whole
Oh
fucking thing.
my god, yeah. Oh my god. Dude,
Yeah.
wait. I need to like actually watch these again. Like they're
It's my
fun.
no, like
They're like just
they are.
fun.
They're
They're
fun as
really
fuck.
really
Yeah.
fun.
I watched
Yeah.
this forever ago. I think we started it relatively recently, but like something came up and we put it down, which is the only reason I remember Mark Hamill being in it.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I would have
but
completely forgot. Um
yeah, no. Yeah, a Kingsman franchise. That might be something we look forward to for like the Sentimentalists
hmm.
potentially eventually.
Yeah.
It's a fun little franchise. But okay, Kingsman: The Secret Service,
Mhm.
from the twisted mind of Matthew Vaughn, um,
Yeah.
as
Um
he is dubbed for the trailer of Argyle. But my eight is John Carpenter's They Live, 1988. This is one that I've long talked about. It's the one where it's got Roddy
mm,
Piper in it, former WWE superstar. He's the lead, and he stars with Keith David, and they're just a couple of badass dudes. Like they have like one action sequence that is them fist fighting that goes on just egregiously long, like way too long.
huh.
It's one of those movies that like I fucking adore with all my heart. I don't know how. I mean, it's good. It's a good movie, and I would recommend it to pretty much anybody. But
Mhm.
there's a certain like, if I showed it to like my brother, I think he'd be like, "Now, what the fuck are we watching?" Like because it's Roddy Piper finds a pair of glasses that like shows him the real world. It shows him that like the people in suits and the people who run the world are like actually alien zombie motherfuckers who are like trying to mind control the population
Hmm.
to keep the poor man down. It's like
Mhm.
it's a good class commentary actually. And like he puts on the glasses and he looks at billboards and the billboards say like stay asleep, do not wake up. Like it's like
Huh.
and it's all this stuff. So like it's cool. It's a fun idea, one of my favorites ever, and I had to include it here. It's one of those borderline ones where like it's definitely an action movie, but like there is more of a sci-fi thing going on because of the alien stuff. But sci-fi action is how I'd define it. So I
Yeah.
brought it in here at eight with They Live.
All right. Well, I'll definitely go much, much more sci-fi as this list goes on, and with this next pick even. My seven is 2007's. Didn't mean for that to happen. Transformers by
Hmm.
Michael Bay. Quite sci-fi. But man, was this another just kind of childhood movie that I thought that this was one of the coolest movies of all time. Megan Fox helped a lot. I was growing up, that I mean that her just being in there helped, but no, seeing like I wanted Bumblebee,
Hmm.
to imagine having a car that could then transform into a 2-story to 3-story robot that could then fight for you and wants to protect. Like they actually have like a good friendship, and like it's not just like a robot and human thing. No, they have like a relationship. Um, and I don't know, kind of the first, uh Challenger, we think Challengers is kind of the first to do it, but no. Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, and Bumblebee, kind of the
Mm.
first like power thruple in cinema that I didn't really think about until right now. But
Shia LaBeouf.
I mean, because
What a fuck.
Bumblebee does everything in his power to get Shia to like fuck with me, like literally, like it is like he is it's a
He's
large
wingman
part of
in
the
it.
movie, yeah. And it's just it's awesome. But no, the action, it's Michael Bay, and he's notoriously known for going above and beyond for action and just massive explosions and all the sorts. But whenever it is crazy, you have these sci-fi robots that are from space and Autobots, Decepticons, all this weird shit going on.
Autobots. Yeah.
But no, it's anchored in very real world and it looks very real and surprisingly for like 2007 it's
Dude,
insane.
the visual
um
effects are fucking incredible in Transformers.
yeah
Yeah, like that's a good
um
looking movie.
so I thought it's just it's good. I even to this day I like watching the movies. Some things don't quite hold up with just it's 2007, but the action and just kind of the larger story that's going on is just really really cool, and the fact that the VFX still stand up
Mhm.
till today is it really helps. So yeah, I don't know. I thought I'd include it here, and I do love it, so I boosted it up to 7 for me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
My seven is also a franchise film. Um, kind of a stand-in representative of the franchise, is kind of how I'm going about it. But as far as action is concerned,
mm,
I have Mission Impossible Fallout. This was the sixth installment, directed by Christopher McQuarrie. Only his second movie in the directorial chair. Um,
mm,
I love the Mission Impossible franchise. Like, an absurd amount. There's a lot of heart here. This one has Henry Cavill. It
uh
also has
the reloading of the
yes, the
arms.
reloading of the fists is this movie.
Oh, let's go.
That's Mission Impossible Fallout. It's got Vanessa Kirby. It's got Rebecca Ferguson. It's got Angela Bassett.
Hmm.
It's just it's a fucking banger. And the whole franchise is. It's Tom Cruise stops a nuke. Um, so like that rocks.
As you
Um,
do. Okay.
and
Um
it's so cool because there's this fascinating thing where like the Mission Impossible movies, they stand on their own really, really well. There is a through line, however, like
hmm,
you can't, this is kind of the first one that you can't watch on its own,
I
which says a
see.
lot. There's five movies before it, like it's pretty
Hmm.
cool that that's the case. But I always say that like you can watch 4 through 6, 4 through 7, but if you're gonna watch four, you're probably gonna want to watch three. And if you watch three, you might as well watch one and two, and so like ultimately I love the
Uh-huh.
Mission Impossible franchise. I think that there are a lot of people have a lot to say about Mission Impossible 3 and 2. Two's directed by John Woo, who I love. Three is directed by J.J. Abrams. It was actually his directorial feature debut, was
Hmm.
Mission Impossible 3. And so, like, yes, they are the weak links in the franchise. However, they fucking rule. It doesn't fucking matter that they're the weak links in the franchise. They're fucking awesome.
Hmm.
So, like, I enjoy Mission Impossible a great deal. Mission Impossible Fallout is probably my favorite. Um, I cannot wait to rewatch the whole franchise at some point soon, because I fucking love it. So Mission Impossible Fallout is what I have at
Man.
7.
Um reminded me Tom Cruise. Reminded me of Top Gun. Either one, Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick. Didn't
Both
quite
good.
yeah,
Both good.
didn't make the list. But just thought I'd mention it right now. But anyway, Um, moving on to 6, is my first comic book movie. I think, well, and actually only comic book movie. And whenever I was thinking of what action in a comic book movie that I liked the most, only one really kind of came to mind the whole time, and it was The Dark Knight, 2008, Christopher Nolan's. And if I felt like I didn't want to put a comic book movie on this list at all, but then not having The Dark Knight here, in my favorites, as well. Like like the action in this movie is pretty like it's just real. Nolan makes that a point to really do the things that you're seeing on screen. We see a semi truck freaking flip over,
Flip.
and
Yeah.
then like just the actual Batmobile, like just driving on the roads, or even his bike, as well, driving through the mall, and like you just do that, the whole
Mm.
sequence. Just mostly it is just Batmobile and on the road, and the Joker pulls out a freaking RPG when he's in the semi truck,
Yeah.
and like trying to shoot Harvey Dent in the there, and then Gordon, when he jumps in front of the current mayor, I guess,
Mayor.
yeah,
Yeah.
mayor,
Yeah.
to save him, and that whole chaos ensues, and then Batman himself, like beating up, doing Batman things like at the beginning. Oh, I'm not wearing hockey pants. It's the action that real yeah, I'm realizing that I'm picking a lot of like just childhood core action memories. Is the kind of this part of my list is
Mm.
what it's seeming like. In the Dark Knight, it's just always been there. And one that's kind of undoubtedly just
Oh, it rocks.
it's there for me. So yeah. Um I think everybody knows. Everybody kind of knows the Dark Knight at this point. It's kind of just accepted
The Dark Knight's the
there.
shit.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I really really wanted to make a statement and put the Batman instead of the Dark Knight. Um and I don't. There could be an argument there that there is a lot of action in the Batman. And I don't know if it does stack up to the Dark Knight, but as far as overall
I think
movies
the
concerned, but
hand-to-hand action
mm,
in the Batman is probably superior.
yeah.
Um, there's only really one Batmobile sequence versus the Batmobile, Bat bike, Bat
Mhm.
wing thing going on. Like,
That's
there's a
true.
lot. Yeah,
The
like
Dark Knight wins in on the road, but the
even though
Batman
I don't
wins
like, yes, the sequence where the semi truck flips and all that obscenely strong.
the
The Penguin
chase. Yeah,
chase,
it is kind of
that's
nice.
pretty fucking
It is
good,
kind of
dog.
nice. It
Um,
is kind of shadowed in rain and darkness a little bit. And
right, but that's
with
the noir thing going
yeah,
on.
that is true. And the last shot that it is brought, the upside down. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, come on.
Catwoman,
So,
Catwoman versus Bruce whenever you're pretty good at that.
I mean,
Like
yeah, there's an argument. There is an
no, but
argument
they're
to be made.
they're both great
Um,
choices. Either
but
way you
yeah.
could have gone would have been successful. I
Hmm.
wouldn't have had a complaint.
But yeah.
I love that. Dark Knight at 6. My 6 is my John Woo. John Woo was the one I had a tough time only including one for. Um
Okay.
So the one I did include was Hard Boiled, which we did cover just a
Hmm.
couple weeks ago. I absolutely love Hard Boiled. I thought that it's an instant all-time favorite, which just speaks highly to how much I love the rest of this list. Um, Hard Boiled was so much fun. We have a whole episode covering it. I'm going to use this as a way to shout out the one that I didn't quite include. Last Hurrah for Chivalry. Gnarly. Fucking awesome action film. 1979, I think. Last Hurrah for Chivalry, John Woo film, pretty early on in his career.
Hmm.
Super cool. Watch as much John Woo as you can. If you haven't seen Hard Boiled, watch it. If you haven't watched Face Off, watch it. If you haven't watched Last Hurrah for Chivalry, watch it. If you haven't watched Mission Impossible 2, watch it. Just like any John Woo movie you can get your hands on, fucking watch it. I love
Hmm.
the guy. So Hard Boiled at 6, quite confidently.
All right. Well, that's easy because we did cover it at length. Um, but I guess yeah, we did cover this. We covered this one as well. My five. Moving on, it was a little bit ago during another Nolan. I did have a repeat in directors here. I didn't even think of that rule when I was making my list, but
I didn't
um,
say it was
yeah.
self-imposed. I wasn't,
Um,
yeah,
but
that was just on me.
Nolan happened to do it on mine, and he went back to back. And Tenet, 2020, will be the one to do it, and it's a movie that it's so weird, my relationship with this movie. At first, I almost hated the movie. I was almost like, I think he's trying for something too much here. Like he's there's some I just don't think I got the movie at first myself when I first watched it. And but then the more and more I've watched it, I'm like, man, I've I'm falling more and more in love with this movie, and it's almost like the movie is doing its magic on me. What's happening in the movie is happening in real life almost. A fucking time temporal pincer maneuver or whatever on me.
Yeah.
But no, I'm thinking of the man. It seems things just happen on the highways, or on the roads. But the fire, just squeezing the car and keeping it moving so like the
Yeah.
police don't think anything's going on, and the whole time there's the backwards car coming in and they have to what the device or whatever the fuck is tossed across the car. That whole sequence is freaking insane. John David Washington, being on the ladder and they're doing it all in slow
Yeah.
motion, and like they're doing it for real but slow, and John David Washington has to like do these movements slowly and sometimes backwards, and I mean to think of all of that is crazy.
Dude,
And to
Tenet rocks.
yeah.
Tenet rocks. Like I always think about the hand-to-hand sequence between John David Washington, the protagonist, and what ends up being himself.
Himself, yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and I mean the whole culmination of the movie, the war on the beach where like explosions are going up and cars are going backwards and people are
Oh.
running like that, like as an action movie, Tenet
Whew.
is fucking awesome. I adore Tenet. So like
Oh.
it is weird. It's one of those ones where I feel like I'm not supposed to like it for some reason,
Mm.
but I
Yeah.
absolutely do. I fucking love it.
Yeah. Was it a real Boeing like a real plane that he blew up? Like I feel like
Yeah,
he
yeah, 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 yeah.
actually just crashed a plane into a hangar or
Yep,
just
that's
blew
true.
up a
That
plane.
happened. That happened.
Yeah, just you know, it's nice to know that there's people out there making movies that'll go to these lengths,
Right.
and it gave us a pretty sick action movie. So yeah, but we've covered them. We've given him a spotlight. So we've talked our tenant, but yeah, that's
Love
my
it.
five, breaking the top five, for me. So
I love it. All right. Well, my top five begins with the most recent movie. Perhaps a bit of recency bias here. This is where I have Monkey Man,
mm,
directed by Dev Patel. Loved this movie. The action in it was so fucking cool. The part where he cuts a dude's throat with the knife that's in between his teeth will stick with me forever. Fucking
Ooh.
awesome. Um,
Ooh.
I love the involvement of the Hijra tribe being
Mm,
like his soldiers. That was fucking
the
gnarly.
training
Um,
them
the
to
training
that he went
sequence was
through.
dope. I mean, every
Um,
fight he has in the ring when he is wearing the monkey mask is fucking cool.
the
The
cinematography of the
dude,
fights too,
gorgeous.
like
Yeah, dude, it's a
beautifully
great
done.
I need to rewatch this movie bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
The sequence where he uh attempts to assassinate the dude who he's trying to get revenge on, but the guy knocks the gun out of his hand and they chase all the way through the club and
Mm.
all that's like he goes on the
Ooh.
run, he dives into the water. That whole fucking awesome. There's just so much cool fucking shit in Monkey Man and Dev Patel, an incredible, incredible directorial debut. Um, I cannot recommend highly enough that if you have not watched Monkey Man, you're missing the fuck out. That is the shit. And I love it. We covered it about a month ago. So I don't feel wrong for
Mhm.
not giving it more time, but I do love me some Monkey Man, and therein it kicks off my top five.
Yeah, definitely warrants a rewatch as well. I'm in this constant back and forth of do I rewatch a movie or do I keep watching new ones, because I've discovered so many great movies recently.
Mm.
I mean, like my four. It is you had John Wick 2. This is where I'll have John Wick Chapter 4, the mega epic of the franchise, the culmination. Maybe. Who knows? Are they done? We don't know. But man, if this is, we got quite the franchise with John Wick, and this I mean, they're showing off the whole movie. It's like they were doing it for three. Three, they were just showing off, and that's all that it was. But four, they were showing off and also made a good movie on top of it. And Keanu, just at the center, of it all. What's oh my god, Donnie Yen. Oh, Kane. Yes, Kane. Like,
Kane.
goddamn, like that last battle. Like, it's not even heavy action. It's just the tension that's built, like the standoff, the everything that it's culminating to, it's
Mm.
but then you definitely there's no shortness of action. It's there the whole time, and I love that we're at a stage in the franchise where you can get these crazy armored up guys that seemed unkillable, whenever they first popped up, but now like they know exactly what to do, where to shoot them, how to take them out. They have the weaponry for it, and we have all these crazy different characters, and it's
Mm.
just such a fun franchise, and another one that we have covered. But I mean, had to be here. We this
Uh,
was one that we
yeah.
had to trade for, John Wick,
It
for
was. It
sure.
was.
So
And I
yeah.
got I'm happy with the trades we got. I actually got Monkey Man out of that
Mm-hmm.
deal. I also slid you Tenet. That was the other one. I gave you Tenet and John Wick 4
Yeah.
for Monkey Man. So
Mm-hmm.
all three of those right in a row. Happy with that. But yeah, love John Wick. Probably the only franchise that'll get any overlap here, which is cool.
Yeah.
Um, but my four is one we covered couple years ago, which is kind of wild to say. Kill Bill Volume 1,
Wow.
by Quentin Tarantino
Mm-hmm.
and Uma Thurman. Fucking badass, fucking gnarly, one of the greats.
Mm.
Some insane sword play. Love that shit. I love the genre bending or medium bending whenever they go into the anime style to give that one chick's backstory. That shit's cool.
Mm. Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I
That's
always forget
always
about
really
that.
dope. The Hattori Hanzo swords, the first fight she has with Vivica A. Fox, and then the final fight with Lucy Liu, like just a cool fucking movie. A great score by RZA, and I love it. I love this movie with all my heart. I think Uma Thurman, she's been a great for a very long time. Hard pressed to tell you she's ever been better than she is in the Kill Bill movies. And like I said, I love the supporting cast. I love Lucy Liu. We get brief looks at Daryl Hannah in this one and Michael Madsen. They're much more
Mm.
important come the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's just a lot to like. Gordon Liu is Johnny Ma, um, or Johnny Mo, who was our protagonist in the 36th Chamber of Shaolin.
Mm.
So like fun little crossover
Yeah.
stuff for stuff we've covered before. But
Ooh, maybe another honorable mention there. 36. Not quite action heavy, but maybe not enough.
yeah, more
But
training, a
yeah.
lot of training in that
Um,
one. But yeah, 36 Chamber rocks. That's also a great
but
movie. But
nah, yeah, Kill
yeah,
Bill
Kill Bill, man.
was one that I was sad to see let go of my list. We had to trade for this one, but the movie or movies, or did I was it one? Was this a one for one?
I think this was a one for
I
one,
think
if I recall
maybe it
correctly.
was. I think I'm not too upset with it. Oh, I think it is. I think it was, and I think it actually is my next one. Maybe. But Kill Bill. I don't know. It was painful to see let go of my list. I do
Mm,
love me some Kill Bill, and at Vintage Stock every time I go there, they do have them. They have them there,
right.
brand new, Volume 1 and 2, right there on Blu-ray for me, if I
Ah,
want them.
yes.
So I just haven't quite pulled the trigger, but man, I'm thinking about it. But okay, um, that's your four. Okay, then yeah, I think this was the trade. My three. This is where I have RRR.
Yes. Yeah, that
2002.
was
Yeah.
difficult.
Okay. This was the trade, and I was going back and forth on like, man, how do I weigh Kill Bill versus RRR? How do I which one do I like better? And I arrived at just RRR was unlike anything I have ever seen.
That shit's so
Like
epic.
it
Yeah.
and there is nothing I can compare to it. Kill Bill, it still fits that bill. Like there's not many other movies that fit Kill Bill, but I could see some movies being drawn as a comparison. But RRR, at least for me, maybe I'm just new to the genre. But oh my god, it was also, it just has the revolutionary spirit there too. This beautiful like fire and ice and nature versus machine and all of that going on as well. And then the action is just as over the top as they possibly could go. And I mean, I don't know of a more fun and just crazy cinematic experience that I've had, of just going into a movie blind, RRR, okay. Like, you know, I had what you have said, just like of previous episodes. Like, it's an action epic movie. And it's just an epic action movie. And that, okay, yeah, we're doing an action, you know, project. That makes sense. That's all I know, but I didn't know it would be kind of one of my all-time favorite movies, just in general. So, um, I think even now I'm still kind of tripped up over the trade, but I'm very glad that I could put
Yeah, no,
RRR on
I
my
would have been
list.
happy with either, which
Um,
is why ultimately I'm okay with Kill Bill. But I would have been okay with RRR. I think they're both incredible fucking movies, and
mm,
RRR, as like you said, it's just epic. It's so grand and it's so fun and it's
uh,
so sad and it's so moving. Like there's just so much there. So I love it. Both tales of revenge to a degree, which is cool. I like that. I like
mm,
the revenge
mm-hmm.
stories. Um, Old
Uh,
Boy has a little bit of that going on as well. Monkey Man, obviously. John Wick,
John Wick
obviously.
for sure.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, plenty of that going on here. But my
mhm.
three, I'm also going with another 3 hour epic. This is where I have Seven Samurai.
Ah,
Um, had to get Seven Samurai in here. This is one of those ones that I hesitated to even call action. Yes, there's a lot of action in it, but it's a drama at its core. It's much more about the story itself than the action in the movie. However, deeply influential. It is an action film. I'll take it. So, love me some Akira Kurosawa. Just a great tale of triumphing over evil, protecting those who can't protect themselves. Deeply influential on like Star Wars. You know, like
mm-hmm.
that's a big time Star Wars. Like anytime you've ever watched, you know, there's a mention in the Bad Batch where Tech's like, Saw Gerrera. You know, like Anakin Skywalker and Captain Rex trained your village and to teach them how to protect themselves.
Hmm.
That is what Seven Samurai is. Is it's a
Oh,
group of warriors who train a village to protect themselves. Um,
dang. Yeah, I can't wait to get here. It is the Kurosawa I want to get to so bad. Um, and just one that I've never even seen it, but I felt remiss to not have it on my list for some reason.
right.
You know, it's like that's just how heralded I feel like it is. Like it's just that well known. And
Yeah, no,
man,
I mean like it's a genuinely great movie. One of the greatest of all time. I've only watched it once. It is 3.5 hours, so it's hard to
mhm.
carve out time for, which is really the only reason I've only watched it once. Um, but yeah, I fucking love it, and I can't wait to revisit it probably as soon as possible. Um, love Seven Samurai, so had to have it top three, and to put anything above it, that's it's high praise for what comes
Dang.
next. So,
Okay.
um,
Okay. Well, in my two was the most kind of controversial for me, to call it action or not. And it might be recency bias. I don't think so. Um, it's I know that it's one of my favorite movies of all time, regardless, and I
mm,
think the action in it is enough to elevate it to that point. I'm talking Dune Part Two. Villanueva just, I mean, give me give me everything that you got. I mean, I don't know. It's just the action. I mean, like even on what's the planet of the Harkonnens, whenever Freyr Rotha is
oh
just
yeah,
out in,
Deity Prime.
yes, like just that, the visuals of it, the scale of just that, like like the Colosseum but on steroids, and then also on a planet where the sun makes everything black and white, which is just like incredible. So it's like the action that you do get, all their little rebellions, you know, like whenever they're taking out just the mining operations, and they have to hide in the sand and come out the last second, take down the ground troopers first, and then like the sniper will come out the last second to take down the mining thing once all the little buzzards or whatever are taken care. I
Hmm.
don't know. I love all that, and then the great massive war, you know, and then fight at the end.
Yeah,
Um
Fade Rotha
yeah.
versus Paul
I
Atreides.
mean,
Pretty
come
good one.
on. Um and I love that the movie's now on digital, and now we're getting all the memes of everything, and I
What
like
do we do? Yeah.
like I saw one where Javier Bardem. How am I can't even think of his
Stilgar?
yeah, Stilgar. He keeps interrupting Paul over and over. He's like, at least I'm not gonna actually, like it just at the keep over and over at like the worst times. It's like during the fight as well. He'll interrupt him and Paul just gets pissed. Like I love that. I don't know, this movie. It felt like it kind of took over the world for a little bit. And it feels like it. I don't know. It's still going a little bit. I mean. I don't think it's definitely not at the hype that it once was. Whenever it came out, that's for sure. But
But the Lisan Al Gaib shit hasn't gone away, bro.
yeah,
People
yeah, we kind of
it's on
need
my
a
Twitter daily.
Lisa No Gaib. It's like it would be nice. It would be nice if we just if we kind of had one, but not one that's like actually being manipulated by, I don't know, the
Lady
Bene
Jessica.
Gesserit and all that stuff. Maybe we don't have all that stuff, but
Yeah, this was
uh,
a good example of the subjectivity coming into play for action, as this is not
mhm,
one I would have considered action. I think of it more as a sci-fi adventure.
yeah.
I think that but there's some great action sequences. Like you said, like my favorite, like when I think about that movie, one of my favorite parts is whenever Chani and Paul are trying to take down an ornithopter and that minefield by themselves,
Ah,
and they have to like he like goes now and he runs and
uh-huh.
the leg moves and he's like shit and he like dives under it.
Uh-huh.
Chani like blows up the ornithopter, runs, and she's like laughing and then it
Yeah,
crashes on the ground.
gives her
Like
that little
fucking so
laugh.
cool.
Oh, it's so
Yeah, I
nice.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So
Oh,
yeah, I love Dune 2. Great pick for top two. And to branch to another desert epic for my two, this is where I have Mad Max Fury Road,
uh-huh.
directed by George Miller. We just talked about this earlier this week. Uh, I mean, when it comes to action, I'd say it does action better than my number one. My number one's just my favorite action movie. I
Yeah.
there's just nothing. There's very few things that have ever done action better than Fury Road, beginning to end. Um, we were talking about the on the road stuff for Tenet and Dark Knight, and like now we're talking taking the road out into the desert, and then the desert becomes the storm chase sequence, the don't breathe, like that. Everything in
Mm,
this fucking movie just rips, dude. It is so cool. Um,
man,
metal as fuck. So cool.
that
Cool as anything has ever been.
after
So
the big sandstorm, the little standoff that Max has
yes.
with Passed Out, like yeah,
Yeah.
like oh, what's Ru
Nux.
Nux. God, I always the character names always get me. But man, that and then like it's man, yeah, everything in that movie. It was magnificent.
Yeah, Nux holds out
Um,
the clip and Max slams it down on it, and
Pew,
then
pew,
he
pew.
pop pop
Ooh,
pop by her head and hold like, dude, so fucking
ooh,
cool.
ooh,
So
yeah.
fucking cool. But yeah, such a badass movie. Fury Road. If you want our extended thoughts, we literally just did an episode on it Monday. We
Mm,
did Furiosa on Wednesday. So you can
had to
check
be
those
here.
out. Had to be here.
Had to be here. All right. Well, we're on to the number one. And it's another sci-fi. It's another Keanu. But man, the action in here, it's undoubtedly people. This one, it's just known. It's 1999's The Matrix. The Wachowski sisters. Thank you. The this the it just this movie. I'm so glad that I could just put it. I mean, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. A trade that I was very glad to accept here with
Mm.
getting the Matrix. What do you remember what the trade was
Fury
for?
Road.
It was,
I
yeah,
got
Fury
Fury
Road
Road.
for the
Yeah.
Matrix. Yeah, I think just equal. I mean, we both understand that these are great movies, but
Yeah.
the love that we each have for each movie, I think we
Yeah.
both got what we wanted here.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I have no qualms with putting this at my one.
Well, and
Um,
that's how good The Matrix is that it would have been top three in mine. Like that's how good
yeah,
it is. Like it's just like those are the two top movies that I knew would be the highest priority for us to trade:
mm,
Matrix and Fury Road.
yeah. I mean, Bullet Time is actually like cinematically kind of revolutionary. Like just
Oh yeah.
multiple like tracking a scene in that way, and doing it so fluidly, and then just also just all the other action that comes across, like him fighting all Agent Smith down in the subway. I love, and then like their final fight whenever he is the one, he's just puts the hand behind the back and just is toying with Agent Smith at that point. It's like, oh dude, come on. Yeah, I mean, I can't get enough of it, and I mean, it's one of my favorite
He
movies of
moved
all
like
time.
them. Yeah,
You
no,
know, I mean,
it's
it's
fucking
gonna,
gnarly.
it had to be here, even
The
above. Yeah,
dojo, the dojo. God, I
you
love it.
think that's air you're breathing? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I put it above Dune 2, and that's easily above Dune 2 right now. I mean, I don't. I mean, Dune 2 still got. Dune's gotta kind of do some more. Gotta do a lot more. The Matrix, it's there already. It's number one. It's my favorite action. It's sci-fi as hell, but goddamn, I don't think anyone would not call the Matrix an action movie.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's really a bad thing I can say about the Matrix. Maybe that it's not long enough, and that I want it to just keep on, just
The only bad thing about the Matrix is that Michelle Yeoh's not in it.
damn. There you go. Yeah, that could be the only thing that could have made it better. Throw Michelle Yeoh and Christopher Lee in
She
there somehow.
legitimately had a scheduling conflict where she couldn't be in the Matrix. She was going to be in the
No,
Matrix.
that
Um,
makes it even
she,
worse.
yeah, she ended up filming Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
Well,
which was one of the movies that I considered for this list, but
that's
wouldn't
okay.
consider it action as a top two genre piece. So
Mm.
that's why Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon's not on mine. I love it every bit as much as any of the movies on here,
Hmm.
though. So, yeah, The Matrix fucking rips, man.
Hmm.
Keanu, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie Ann Moss. We're about to get Trinity as a Jedi
Yeah.
here next week.
What? Hello.
Legit next week, also, by the way.
Yeah.
Like
Whoa.
actually next week now.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Oh my
yeah,
God. Hello. All right.
yeah.
Let's
I'm
go.
ready.
It's your turn. Maybe she's the one. At the time in Star Wars universe. I don't know. It seems that show seems that it seems pretty freaking sweet. Like, I
Seems
don't
pretty
know.
fucking
And that
awesome.
that
Yeah,
little clip that we got of her just going off, little whatever, no lightsabers needed.
yeah,
I'm ready.
yeah.
I'm ready
No,
for
Carrie
that.
Ann Moss
But
rips, dude, and that's why that friend. I mean, Hugo Weaving, as it like the cast, the direction, the editing, it's
mm-hmm.
just a brilliant film. Um, I love
Mm.
The Matrix. So Matrix that one, sound choice, sound decision. My number one. This is where I have Indiana Jones. This is where I have Raiders of
Mm.
the Lost Ark, directed by Steven Spielberg. One of those ones that, the way I would consider Matrix sci-fi before I'd consider it action, even though they're both every bit as important. I'd consider this an adventure film before I would an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
However, the action in this movie is so formative and so influential that I cannot not include it in a list like this. The sequence at the end of the movie, whenever Indy is fighting the giant fucking guy, and Marion Ravenwood is in the plane, and the plane is leaking
Oh.
fuel, and there's a fire that's building, and it's slowly creeping towards the plane, and all this chaos is happening. They push the big guy into the propeller. He gets shredded. Like, just so much awesome action in this movie. The boulder scene at the beginning of the movie, running away from that, avoiding the
Iconic.
booby traps, like
Mm-hmm.
there's just so much to love about the indie movies, and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It doesn't get better than that for me. Um, I cannot wait to cover this franchise at length eventually, and I these movies hold such a special place in my heart. So Raiders of the Lost Ark topping my list of favorite action movies ever was kind of a no-brainer. I had
Mm-hmm.
I had very little doubt about it. Um,
Yeah, I can't wait to get to Indy myself as well. Just kind of, I've gotten just the first two under my belt. And I don't know. It's been one that's been a little too long that I haven't
mm,
seen it, and I can't wait to get it all down. But no, Raiders undeniably, yeah. I figured you would have it. And I mean, I
it
think it's
rules.
it's kind of
It
like the
rules.
Matrix in the sense that, yeah, it's one that no, everyone will understand as, yeah, no, that's one of the greatest movies
That's goat
to
shit.
just
That
ever
is
come
that
out.
is the great that is some of the
Um,
greatest shit of all time. So yeah, I love it. I adore it, and it had to be here. But with that, I'm going to do the plugs, and after the plugs, we are going to do that rundown one more time. I'm going to let you know what we've got coming up in the next couple weeks, and then it's time for the final album of the week
mm,
for May. And I'm very excited for that. Uh, but yeah, if you would head to patreon.com/pennybloom pod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, early access content, and the Penny Bloom Dispatch. If you listened to Furiosa earlier this week, you know that we've got something exciting coming in several weeks. We're going to start doing Penny Bloom Dispatch much more frequently, and it will eventually become the main show for the Penny Bloom podcast. Right now, it's available for free on Patreon. We've only done one. The next one will be next week, and I'm very excited for that. Every Monday, Penny Bloom Dispatch coming your way. More timely, news-based, entertainment news, segment-based thing. It's a lot of fun. Joe's been doing an archaeology segment for
mm.
us where he's talking about the pyramids. I'm doing entertainment news, and we might spice it up with something in between there as well. Got a little book club going as well, talking about what we've been reading. A lot of fun. So Penny Bloom Dispatch is available for free at patreon.com/pennybloom pod. For any extra content, though, it will be $1.50 a month, which is huge because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. So please go to patreon.com/pennybloom pod. Head to Twitter, follow at pennybloom pod for any future news on the podcast. Follow on Instagram and TikTok at Penny Bloom Podcast. You can watch on YouTube now. Watch on YouTube, look up Penny Bloom Podcast for us. You'll find us there. Um, let's see. Leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. I'd appreciate it greatly. Um, but yeah, with that, let's run that back. Your top 10,
Mm-hmm.
give it to me. Either 1 to 10 or 10 to 1, whatever you feel is more fitting.
All right, I'll go 10 to 1. At 10, I had 1917, 9, Predator, 8, Kingsman: The Secret Service, 7, Transformers, 6, The Dark Knight, 5, Tenet, 4, John Wick, Chapter 4, 3, RRR, 2, Dune Part 2, and 1, The Matrix.
And mine was at 10, Old Boy, 9, John Wick 2, 8, They Live, 7, Mission Impossible Fallout, 6, Hard Boiled, 5, Monkey Man, 4, Kill Bill Volume 1, 3, Seven Samurai, 2, Mad Max Fury Road, and 1, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And with that, what is your album of the week to cap off May?
Well, I was listening to it and I didn't realize until halfway through that it was this type of an album because I hate doing this. I hate doing like a greatest hits or like an essentials of.
Mm.
But I don't even know how it came on, but it just did. And I was listening to it like all weekend for some reason. It's my introduction to Barry Manilow. And it
Oh,
was the essential Barry Manilow. I don't know if this is just an Apple thing like in Apple Essentials, but it looks, I don't know, it says 2005. It's the essential Barry Manilow. There's 2 discs.
Barry
They
Manilow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they each have 17 tracks. And I don't know, it was just, I was kind of listening to it and I'm like, man, this dude just kind of does a little bit of everything. There was like salsa in there a little
Yeah.
bit, and then it just got it, like I feel like he has his normal stuff where it's just kind of like I don't know, just talking about love and relationship shit. Like I feel like classic
Talk about
at the time.
love. Love.
But then yeah, there was like jazz and then salsa and then like just random all sorts of music thrown in there. And it
I
was
mean,
just
Copacabana.
yeah,
That's
that
a
was the
pretty
one.
classic
That
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was, I don't know, that one was fun. So yeah, I liked that one. I did Can't Smile Without You. I don't know. I hearted that one. That one's a classic love one there. Read 'em and Weep. I really liked as well. And I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of just an all over the place um album, and I guess maybe that's why it's the essential Barry Man. I don't know. That's just they threw in a little bit of everything there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Never listened to any Barry Manilow before until now. I don't even know how it came on, but it was on the shuffle, and yeah, just kind of ran through the album while I mowed the lawn and just did my
Fuck yeah.
things.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's a 2 hour and 15 minute album there. I'm going to go 2 hours shorter than that.
Okay.
My album is only 15 minutes. It's 15 songs, 15 minutes. Makes it a really fun listen front to back. Tierra Whack's Whack World. Um, an incredible rapper, Tierra Whack.
Mm.
One of the most underrated currently working. She released this in 2018. I've been listening to it consistently for 6 fucking years. Um, it features one of the TikTok songs that didn't blow up on TikTok until a couple years ago. That was like oh let me see. Which one is it? Um,
Hmm.
I can't remember. Uh, one of these songs is a TikTok song though. The thing is that I listen to it front to back. I don't listen to any individual song. So like I don't know which song is which. I just listen to it from beginning
Ah,
to end because it's 15 songs and it's 15 minutes. Each
yeah.
song is 1 minute long. And it flows perfectly one into the next. She just released her second album a couple months ago. So she did Tierra Whack six
Huh.
years. She did Whack World 6 years ago, and just did Worldwide Whack a couple months ago. Absolutely adore Tierra Whack as an artist. I think that Whack World is one of the most exciting and fun
Wow.
additions in rap ever. And at 15 minutes, it makes it one of the breeziest listens ever. Um,
Yeah. That's pretty cool. The little description they give it is like feels less like an album and more like a dollhouse or a cartoon or a perfect plate
mm,
of canopies, brief, intricate, and orderly, but bursting with energy. Yeah, I know that's I don't know, a really cool concept for an album, but not even doesn't really seem like an I don't know. I don't know. It feels wrong to call it an album almost.
right.
But I don't know. That's pretty cool. A cool concept there. Yeah, definitely. Quite polar opposites there. 2 hours and 15 minutes
Yeah.
versus the brief and very quick 15 minute, um, 15 track song or album. But okay, there we go. Um,
Gosh, I wish I could find which one is the TikTok
Yeah, I was
that
trying to
blew
look
up
through the
on
titles
TikTok.
and see if any of them stood out, and I don't know. But that is interesting that you don't know even what song is really what.
Yeah, no, I mean, like
Because
I
yeah,
just listened to it all at once. So
never on shuffle. Is it always in order? Like
no,
you
I don't
have to
shuffle
listen to it
because
in order.
I mean, like, I advise that for any
Mm-hmm.
album that you listen to it front to back,
Yeah.
but this is specifically designed for you to
Yeah.
listen in one sitting front to back. So, like, that's
Mm-hmm.
how I listen to it. So I know how it flows. I know when songs begin and end.
Yeah, you might have a good idea of like it could be track 11 through 13. It's somewhere around
Mm-hmm.
that like 13-minute mark, maybe or something, I guess. But
Exactly. Exactly.
hmm,
Is it fruit salad?
fruit salad.
Fruit salad goes up. It's not this though. Um, yeah, no, I'm like, I recognize every single song
Mm-hmm.
because I listen to it all the time, but I do not know which song is which off the top of my head. But
Hmm.
regardless, love Whack World. Definitely, it was one that I thought of a couple, like I've been listening to nonstop for the last couple weeks. So love me some Whack World. So we got the Essential Barry Manilow and Whack World by Tierra Whack. Wonderful way to cap off May. Absolutely adore it. And we will be back next week. Another top 10 on Monday, the top 10 Star Wars TV shows in anticipation of The Acolyte. And then
Mm-hmm.
next Friday, Cinema Surprise begins, which you can find on its own show. You can look up Cinema Surprise and it will be available just on Cinema Surprise. Cinema Surprise by the Penny Bloom podcast. It will be its own show. It will also be available here. So if you're just if nice and convenient, you want to listen to it here, that's fine. Whatever. We'll be covering Tron Legacy next Friday. Joe's first pick for the Cinema Surprise Project
Yes.
is Tron Legacy. That is next Friday. I would prefer you went and listened to it on Cinema Surprise. Give that show a boost to start. I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
If not, though, I won't take it personally. We are starting from the ground up. I don't expect it to do incredibly well at the beginning. I think it's something that'll take time to build. So, Cinema Surprise begins next Friday. Look it up, find it. It's there. If you want to watch on YouTube, it will be available on Penny Bloom Podcast. So that's just kind of how we're doing it for now. But yeah, with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
And it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom, and always praise the Matrix and Raiders of the Lost Ark.